I'd like to call the Town Council regular committee meeting in order at 6:31 p.m. Madam Clerk?
Okay. Council Burrell,
Here.
Bordelon,
Here.
Fitzgerald,
Here.
Good,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
McBride,
He may be attending late this evening.
okay. Merritt,
Here.
Pacino,
Here.
and Mayor Parker.
Here.
We have 8 in attendance.
We have a quorum, so we have 8 in attendance. And will you all please rise for the salute to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have recognitions, awards, and memorials. Black History Month proclamation. Council Bordelon, would you like to read it, or would you like someone else to read it?
I'm sure I can read it. I apologize with my eyesight. Sometimes I do struggle at the end of the day, but I will do my best to get through this. Proclamation. Proclamation recognizing Black History Month. Whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas Black History Month grew out of our establishment in 1915 of the Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of African Americans' Life and History, and whereas since the mid-1970s, U.S. presidents have issued proclamations supporting the Association for the Study of African American Life and History themes to celebrate African Americans' many achievements, cultures, and history. In 2026, Black History Month will highlight the varied history and life of African Americans' arts, artisan. Where did I lose my spot? Sorry. Artisans, and whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our attention to the continued need to battle racism and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals, and whereas the town of Groton continues to work towards becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens are respected and recognized for their contributions to our community, the state, the country, and the world. Now there be it resolved that the Groton Town Council does hereby proclaim February 2026 to be Black History Month and encourages all citizens to celebrate the varied history and life of African American arts and artisans dated Groton, Connecticut, this third day of February 2026. Signed, Juliet Parker, Mayor, Town of Groton.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, just to confirm, we have no public hearings. Next, we have receipt of citizens' petitions, comments, and concerns. This is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign the sheet on the table at the front of the meeting room. When you are recognized by the mayor, please approach the podium and request that you clearly state your name and address, speaking into the microphone. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to Groton. The mayor reserves the right to shorten the length of comments to preserve the order of meeting. Town council may extend meeting times beyond 5 minutes with a majority vote of the council. To speak during this portion of the meeting, please sign up at the meeting before the call to order. You may also register to speak in person in advance by emailing council@groton-ct.gov no later than 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. And first up, we have Dana Parfit.
Good evening. Dana Parfit, 32 St. Paul Court, Groton, and I come to you tonight as representing the Groton 250th Celebration Committee. And what you have in front of you tonight is you've got this lovely pink newsletter from the library. And right on the very first page, you will see we have 6 activities this month going on in relationship to the 250th anniversary. So far, the activities in January have been fabulously attended. I hope you can all get out and go to some of them. You'll see that 2 of these are movies, 2 of these are book talks. One is a music program, which should be very entertaining, with music and instruments from the time period. And then there's a craft time that's open to everyone of all ages. It's definitely family friendly. In addition to the activities going on at the Groton Library, our partners, Mystic Noink Library and Bill Memorial Library, also have activities going on during the month. In addition, one of our partners, Thames River Heritage Park, is also hosting a winter series of conversations at Lyman Allen Museum. So look for them on their web page or at our calendar through the QR code that I gave you last month, and it appears on this program. The Mystic River Historical Society is also doing a talk later this month on the Battle of New London. So we have many, many things going on for this celebration this year. 2 things I want to bring to your attention about all the activities going on. A lot of us learned from Nicolas Cage in National Treasure all about the Resolute Desk. Some kids really got into it and talked about it a lot. Do you know that Groton has a connection to the Resolute Desk? If you don't know, there's a display at our library right now where you can learn it at the history room at the library. So please stop over and read that interesting connection. There are also traveling exhibits that are on display right now at the libraries as well. Next month, I will be here to tell you more about an open house day that will be coming up on June 13th at the Jabez Smith House. That is the state's open house day, and it'll be our first year participating with that. So we're looking forward to having Sons of the Revolution do some encampments, Daughters of the Revolution doing some activities. There'll be family fun all day, so I hope you'll be able to participate. And we know the weather will be warm and not like this, thank goodness. There'll also be information coming next month about a public reading day of the Declaration of Independence, where we will be looking for lots of you to help participate in that celebration. And as I said last month, we'll have details on where, how, and when you'll be able to order your Groton 250 merch, so you'll be all ready for all the activities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Kevin Fiftel.
Good evening, Kevin Fiftel, 5 West Mystic Avenue, Mystic, Connecticut. Thank you for your time this evening. Based on your agenda, I had stopped in just to say a few things. It should be short. I first wanted to say, under the new rule coming up under rules and procedures regarding signs, banners, posters, et cetera, I don't really think that's been abused. I think in the last council that you all had, there was some very appeared to be aggressive use against citizens on many, many things. And people did bring signs into it. But it also appears, particularly what's happening on a national stage these days, that it's best not to put down anything of free speech. And I think that it borders on free speech if you start knocking out posters. You'll see in a little while, I'm very much in favor of something you're about to do, but I find that the sign thing goes beyond what I would consider asking of my citizens not to do. Rule 5, new F, and rename existing F through H to G. I wanted to thank everyone on the council and everyone on the past council. I heard what was said to you. I found it extremely disturbing. I found the hate, I found the abusive language just horrible that was against you. And I've even seen, since you've taken over, I've seen the same type of language. So I want to say thank you for, number one, your forbearance. And number two, I couldn't be more in favor of what you are going to do as far as this rule is concerned. It's just got to stop. There's no place for that in the town of Groton, and I commend you for bringing that forward. The last thing is the 3 minutes as far as this speech is concerned. I've tried to do it on really weighty issues. It's very difficult. I understand that I wouldn't want to be here if someone is rambling on about a particular issue that maybe they've rambled on, many, many times before. But if you do the banners and signs and do this, it appears, it's not a judgment on you, but an observation, that it appears that maybe you're not treating your citizens as well as potentially you should have given them access to public speech. You have some very weighty issues. You have homelessness, which, being a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, I'm behind you on. Affordable housing, I've put in 100 hours learning about affordable housing for what you're about to do this year. The affordability as far as the town's short-term rentals, downtown Mystic parking, you have weighty issues. I'd say try to move beyond maybe these issues that don't appear that weighty, that appear potentially against citizens. The last issue, and this is my final issue, is I know that you have a new appointment today to the Historic District Commission, and Diane Barber is a very qualified person in so many ways as far as Historic District Commission. But in essence, and I understand there may have been some enmity in the past, you took out an individual in John Goodrich. If you look at his certifications, and if you look at his professional certifications, including historic preservation from Boston College, board member of the Old Mystic History Center, member and interviewer for the Oral History Committee, the Memory Bank, trustee, Preservation Connecticut, member of the Legislative Committee. He's got great credentials. Groton misses John Goodrich. There's no one better, more certified in any commission within the town of Groton, specific to that commission than John Goodrich. And I understand that there are some issues along the line. But when you look at the speech, the verbiage that you change from most qualified to best fit, John fit in that. He fit in the best fit, and he certainly fit in the most qualified. I understand that you may not be able to do anything for a year, but I would ask that within that year, within that process, you get 4 open slots. I think John is very qualified to do that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Judy Leonard.
Hi, I'm Judy Leonard, excuse me, 14 Sequin Drive. I am a resident of Groton, obviously, and also a trustee of the Mystic and No Ink Library. And I'm here this evening to speak briefly about Groton's libraries. Groton has 3 beloved libraries, the Bill Memorial, the Mystic and No Ink Library, and the Town of Groton Library. These libraries provide important and vital services to the community. Dana shared some of the things that the libraries are doing. And each of these libraries receives and appreciates funds from the town of Groton. This year, the Mystic and No Ink Library received the directions for the 2027 budget. We provided all the information requested by the town manager, and as advised by the letter, have requested the same amount of funding this year as last year, a total of $180,600. At the Mystic and No Ink Library, your contribution is crucial to our annual operating budget. As you review the budget going forward, we request and hope, and the library hopes that you will honor and keep our requests. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Boucher.
Mike Boucher, 16 Hillside Avenue, Groton. I've expressed my concern in the past over possible fraud with the Town of Groton Community Investment Fund applications for the City of Groton seawall reconstruction project. Tonight, I also wish to raise my concerns with possible frauds concerning the same seawall project using federal funds in the form of ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, in the amount of $1.4 million. On May 14, 2024, at the Groton Town Council Committee of the Whole meeting, Town Manager John Burke gave some background information about this request and the project. City of Groton Mayor Keith Hendrick also spoke in very general terms. There was no mention about the lack of structural studies of the wall and the still missing Shore Avenue Road Assessment document. Of greater concern, the seawall reconstruction RFP prepared by BL companies lacks significant information to be able to complete the seawall reconstruction process as designed. 2 important points of information were lacking. Number 1, the accurate location of Groton utility lines, and number 2, the failure to follow up on the depth of the bedrock at the construction site.
Only 3 test borings were completed and 1 failed to find bedrock at the necessary depth to anchor the seawall to, as was necessary by the RFP. On April Fool's Day in 2024, the City of Groton Mayor and Council awarded the Shore Avenue Seawall Reconstruction Project to Arborio Corporation. That contract was signed April 26, 2024. It is significantly different compared to the RFP. This contract provided Arborio with a clear path and procedure for submitting many change orders. Simply put, the original RFP bids were meaningless as the final contract and seawall reconstruction design was vastly different from what BL companies proposed. The role of the City Council was basically regulated downward to sock puppets who approved every change order throughout the newly redesigned seawall reconstruction process. As part of my FOIA request boring number 3, this interesting email came up from city staff to GZA staff, the engineering firm overlooking the project. Subject Shore Avenue Seawall, January 16, 2024. Good morning, Matt. I have attached our draft response, which will be posted today. My only question is with respect to the request for design change. I believe when we talked last week, we discussed adding language that in addition to any changes, the cost will be borne by the contractor. It would also be considered in the bid selection. Are you still comfortable with all of that, or should we, or will it deter the vendor from bidding, or is it even necessary that they bear the cost? So before bids were even accepted, the GZA and city staff were already discussing design changes to be borne by the contractor, and vendors deterred from bidding. None of this came up in the May 14th discussion of the seawall. The seawall reconstruction process should have been stopped at once and a new RFP proposed. With so much in question, the request by city mayor for federal funds should never have been submitted, and the lack of significant information given to the town council is shocking. What happened on May 14, 2024 should be investigated by the FBI. It is very unfortunate that the Groton Town Council continues to ignore this matter, but the bill is coming in soon and town taxpayers may be forced to bail out the City of Groton Highway project, the Shore Avenue Seawall debacle. As far as the signs go, I love them. I was very proud to hold up a sign during the data center hearings. I was more than proud to hold up a sign helping the Branford Manor residents in the mold situation where the city failed to act and we had to come to the town for help. Signs are very effective. It's a sign of freedom of speech. When you cut us down to 2 minutes once a month, sometimes that's all we have is a chance to hold a sign. This cannot be considered threatening. It's another sign I held up. Sometimes this is the only chance we have to say anything at a meeting. If you guys can't handle this, you ought to resign today. Thank you. And please, please ask some questions about the Shore Avenue Seawall project, because I know they're going to be hitting you hard on the as a highway project. And there's millions involved. You guys have got to get going on this.
Next up, Chris. Thank you. I didn't want to mess it up. Kuhn.
My name's Chris Kuhn. I live at 104 Irving Street here in Groton. And I'm here to speak to the proposed rule change in opposition to the ban on display of sign, banner, poster, or other material in the town facility when a town meeting is being held. The proposed ban would be a lamentable damper on free speech. Signage is a particularly effective option for public expression because the opportunity to speak at Groton Town Council meetings is limited to once monthly. Indeed, signs are one way for the council and the public to be alerted to the nature and strength of community concerns. What is the basis for the proposed ban on signs? I'm aware that signage is not allowed at the state legislature, but why should this hold locally? Groton security concerns at council meetings already have been addressed by the presence of town police within our meeting rooms. State policy does not justify and need not be extended to local prohibitions. I appreciate the importance of decorum as a guide to the behavior of attendees at town meetings. As to the specific elements of behavior considered by the Temporary Rules Committee, I was pleased that there was committee consensus that clapping is a positive expression of affirmation, and the proposed rule to eliminate clapping was removed by the committee as a prohibited behavior. I do want to express my dismay at the highly agitated manner and tone of one public comment made at the January 6 Town Council meeting in opposition to the reappointment of John Goodrich to the Historic Preservation Commission. Respectfully, I would consider the disturbing commentary of our former mayor as one that deserved a call for decorum and for calm by our current mayor. This did not happen. Then, 5 of 9 councilors, including one member of the Personnel and Appointments Committee who had voted Mr. Goodrich's appointment forward, appeared to accede to the public call by the former mayor. Despite Mr. Goodrich's strong qualifications and his, I believe, 6 years of dedicated service, he was voted out with no explanation. We are beset in these times by the chipping away of democracy. Yes, decorum is important. It is essential to mutual respect. Freedom of speech, including signs, is of bedrock importance and should be upheld by this council. Please vote no to the ban on signage at town meetings. Thank you for this opportunity.
Lauren Gothier.
Good evening, Lauren Gothier, 31 Boardson Road. Tonight I come to speak to you about Pleasant Valley because I got to keep on brand. I did receive through an FOI request a copy of the purchase and sale agreement that was executed by the town in December for the Pleasant Valley property. I have 2 items of concern related to the park language. First, on page 9 of the agreement, I believe that the language there could be construed by either the developer or the town to end the public park period as it's being called. So this is not only a piece of property that will not be owned and stewarded by the people of Groton, but it is potentially at risk of being taken away at the consent of the town. It's not clear by the language whether or not it would have to come back to the council for a vote to dismiss the obligation of the developer to maintain that public park. And due to the construction of the language, which bifurcates the conditions which the town could consider it, it does not seem clear whether or not the use of the property no longer being residential is precedent upon no longer having a public park there. If they change the use to something different, say retail or demoed it, they would be released of their obligation to maintain a public park. Or it could be construed that any time the developer requests, they could be released of their obligation to maintain a public park. This is, again, a huge concern, as this is the most, I would say, potentially overdeveloped area of town, certainly the most developed area of town, and of course, the only one that does not have any commensurate park space for residents owned by residents. So again, there's that. And then the other piece that lays out the conditions of approval for the purchase and sale agreement to be finalized. It requires that there's an informational public meeting held by abutting property neighbors. This property is primarily abutted, if I recall, by the Navy, and so if it is only the Navy being notified that an informational meeting is being held, I very much doubt that the majority of that neighborhood and the people who live there will be told, and I think that that's something that needs to be publicized by the entire town. There should be signage so that the entire community can come out and speak on that. So again, this will come in front of you eventually, perhaps not this particular council, but a council at some point. And I ask that you oppose this. This should be public property owned and stewarded by the people to end the socioeconomic environmental injustice there, as well as all the other environmental concerns about losing this last piece of green space for generations, if not permanently. Now, since apparently I have more time, which I appreciate that the mayor has allowed more time, I will speak against the prohibition on signs. Other commenters have already mentioned that it's a very effective free speech tool to redress our grievances with our government, which is our First Amendment right. It is very concerning, especially in the current political climate, that this is something that is potentially being abridged. I'll just say that, especially given comments made by some of the surrogates of the Democratic Party, the Groton Democratic Party, that snitches are talking to the press in opposition. That was a comment made by J.C. Amboise on Facebook. It really tells you the tenor and the tone and the culture coming out of a majority of this council against the citizenry and anyone who would oppose and try to redress their grievances. Given that we are still only allowed to speak once a month, the signs are our opportunity to show publicly to other members of the public who come to these meetings, but also to you councilors, the commitment that we have to the causes. I feel like given all of the acrimony that this council has faced over the past several years due to the behaviors and the dysfunction of both current and former members of the council, the more you try to crack down on people speaking out, the more people are going to come out and speak out. You are not actually doing yourselves any favor by even suggesting restrictions on our speech and our ability to bring forward our concerns. So I would very much oppose that. And then finally, John Goodrich is very qualified, has done great work serving on the HDC, and I question why he is being replaced as opposed to just filling the open vacancy under alternates that already exists. So even with replacing John Goodrich with Diane Barber, you are still going to have a vacancy under the alternates. I'm not sure how legal that is. That's not my place to opine. But it is interesting that you wouldn't just fill that vacancy and you are instead trying to remove an individual who has served this town very faithfully and very qualified. Thank you.
I actually can't read the last name, but Diane, I believe that's Diane.
My name is Diane Contino, 231 Lambtown Road in Ledyard, and my family owns property in Groton. I'm here to talk about community development for mobile home people. It is non-existent. You have women living with no heat and no water. I had a very nice talk with the gentleman yesterday that runs your community development, who tells me that he's informed that because this is HUD funding, that they're not giving it to mobile homes on leased land. Why? These are taxpayers. These are elderly women that have no place to go. You have a 5-year waiting list. Something's got to be done. We went after CHFA because they were discriminating against mobile home buyers and required 20% down. You know what we got? $7 million, no money down, 3% interest rate fixed for up to $150,000 for 30 years. $150,000 is $657 a month. You can't beat that. I sold a mobile home to a young man who was looking for an $1,800 rental. He bought a brand-new mobile home for $92. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. His mortgage payment with his lot rent is less than $1,100. You're moving in the wrong direction. You give money to developers, but you don't give it to the mobile home people, and we're beginning to rise up. You have over 500 mobile home people in Groton alone. You have 12 mobile home parks. You have a lot rent on Flanders Road. I'd like to know if the building inspector ever went in there. $830 a month. You need to pay attention. They will be here, and I don't know about your sign ordinances, but they're going to come with shirts that are going to say, mess with us, you mess with the whole mobile home park. This has got to stop. You have people that are work for the town of Groton that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to move into a mobile home park. You can't get a condominium. Elderly women don't want to
Ma'am,
live.
Ms. Catino, can you talk at the microphone, please?
I'm sorry, I thought you could hear me. There's no place to go. There's a lady, 100 pounds. Her floors are so rotted that she would fall through her floors. 92 years old. Where's she gonna go? You have, in 2008, let me tell you what I'm bringing up. You insulated underneath mobile homes with blown-in insulation, 12 inches thick. Do you know what you did? You created mold and rotted floors because the first thing that goes, hot water tank. Piece of vinyl under there, no pan. Hit the chipboard, hit the insulation, vapor barrier, and 12 inches of insulation. No place for the water to go. My experience, I have 50-something years in the mobile home business. My husband's a top setup person till he retired this year. You can't tell me. Tomorrow morning, I am calling Washington to Mike Henready. I am calling his cell phone, and I am telling him and that Department of HUD that Groton will not do community development block grant money for mobile home people. Why? There's nobody that can give me an answer. Let's see, I made some notes this time. Blown insulation, Mike Henry, very little. Lot rents, there's no control over lot rents. If you paid somebody that could go into senior housing, mobile home people pay their own utilities. Give them a little break so they can stay there and die in their houses. You know how, there's one woman infested with mice. Nobody to take care of her. Nobody cares. They're going to care now because we got a nice group going, and we will be here every council meeting. We will be hitting every year board. I made a mistake and went to the senior center and didn't know that I couldn't be there, so we went. First meeting, word of mouth, 30 people, all needing me. This young man right here lives on disability. He and his wife live on $28,000 a year with a 13-year-old. They pay over $7,000 a year for lot rent. They pay taxes, they pay their own utilities. Then where are they going to go if they have to move? Those $5,000 mobile homes from a few years ago are $40,000 now, if you can find them. Average price, $140,000 to $150,000. You still can't beat that. Please, please open your eyes and do something for all of the citizens, not the boat people, not the park people, not whatever. The mobile home people, they really, really need you. Please, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Next up, John Goodrich.
Good evening, everyone. John Goodrich, 74 Irving Street in Mystic. So I'm here tonight to talk about these proposed changes, no signs, going back down to 3 minutes. Mayor Parker, I actually thanked you, I think, at the last meeting for going back to 5 minutes. To go to limit talk and limit expression, freedom of speech, I'm disappointed. So I just kind of want to share a real life example I just went through. So I've been sitting next door since 6 because, as we may know, I'm a trustee for Preservation Connecticut. And there was a historic home in Mystic that was going to be threatened with the DOT project. So the homeowner called Preservation Connecticut, and she called our state senator, and I was called in to testify to protect the property. And thank God I wasted an hour of my time. And you know why? Because our state senator got involved. And although they didn't give me the name, I'm pretty sure Mr. Burke got involved. They said the chief executive of the town. And a compromise was made to protect this property. And you now have a resident in this town that I'm sure John's on her Christmas card list. She loves her state senator, and she thinks government works. And why is that? Because she was able to talk, people listened, people treated her like a human being, and people made her feel like she mattered. And those of you that are up there know who I'm talking about and know who I'm not talking about, but there's a few that don't do that for a lot of people. And not letting people talk is not a way to make them feel important or heard. So just take the story, take what you want out of it, but that's how government should work. And I would say use that as your model moving forward. Thank you.
Next up, Ian Thomas.
Ian Thomas, 24 Jefferson Drive, Groton City and Town. Full disclosure, Board of Education member and also spouse of Councilor Bordelon, but tonight I'm speaking as a concerned resident. Greetings, Mayor Parker and the Groton Town Council. First and foremost, I just want to take a quick minute and lead off with I appreciate the proposed rule changes to Rule 9, and I'm in support of that, which requires each counselor be offered a position in at least one of the 3 standing committees, which would be Rules, Personnel, Appointments, or Public Safety. I would suggest some sort of amendment that allows for some preference to seniority and perhaps encouraging the top 2 choices of any given counselor, since there's plenty of seats to be had, 9 seats and 8 counselors to be spread amongst them. So, also Rule 5F, given the experience of being visited by the auditors over the past many months, last year, I can totally understand why that came into existence, and is, not disagreeable completely. Rule 8, looks like that just has to do with yielding the floor. So counselors yielding the floor would only be able to yield their 3 minutes to citizens who may get the floor. So that's a little bit, I think there's some confusion there, because the rule that two rules that I'm most concerned about, and I'll speak some measure critically on, is I would encourage the council to ask for a plain text reading of each individual rule change, especially when it comes to 11A, and take notice of the language. Despite the note included in the agenda package, the actual meaning of the actual words as printed cannot coexist within the same rule. Either the mayor has the unilateral authority and responsibility to adjust times, or that authority rests with the majority of the council. The legal review, as referred to in the notes that were included in the agenda package, contradict themselves. So, as written, Rule A does place the commanding authority of time allotment over citizens' petitions with the majority of the council. That sentence is clear. Therefore, if you're going to redo the rule, you're going to have to strike out that sentence. If you're going to give the mayor unilateral authority, then you just got to give it. But I would urge you not to. I would urge you to reject that rule change. Legal review is dubious when it comes to the town attorney. There is no confusion. The town attorney can be wrong, and the town attorney has been proven wrong, as I experienced last year with the culmination of my Freedom of Information complaint regarding some improper procedures. The town attorney chose to defend that case rather than just acquiesce and admit that I was right. So that took about a year worth of litigating, but we got it done, and they were wrong. So take that into account. Legal review, you want to get some other opinions besides just the town attorney, because they can be somewhat slanted at times. As a concerned taxpayer and doubly so as a concerned spouse for Councilor Bordelon's well-being, I do want to note some concern. 11A was not adjudicated faithfully, but the new rule 5F could be used in the future. But the comments made by the former mayor last month on January 6th were completely out of bounds as far as the depth and breadth of personal feeling that were injected into that. It had nothing to do with policy or principle or votes that Councilor Bordelon had conducted in her time on the council. It had to do with personal animus, and honestly, seeing that come out in its full fruition just answered a lot of questions from me as a longtime observer as to where the harassment and bias and injection of toxicity was coming from over the past many years. And I urge this council, as it comes into its new form, to focus on inclusion and fair treatment, equitable treatment. And with that, I would encourage the mayor to consider Councilor Bordelon for the Permanent Rules and Procedures Committee after the temporary is dissolved. Thank you.
Rachel Franco?
right, good evening. I'm speaking tonight as a private citizen, exercising my constitutional right to public comment. And I may want to start by reminding this council of two things that are already on the record. First, public comment is governed by law. Second, councilors are not permitted to respond to citizens' comments. Those rules exist for one reason, to prevent elected officials from using their position to intimidate or retaliate against speakers. And yet, Councilor Bordelon continues to violate that boundary. She welcomes public criticism loudly when residents speak against other councilors. She thanks them. She praises them. She calls it democracy. But when that same lawful criticism is directed at her, suddenly she becomes the victim. Suddenly it's abuse. Suddenly it shouldn't have been allowed. That's not principle, that's selective outrage. At a prior meeting, just after I finished speaking, Councilor Bordelon interjected on the record with a comment. Commented about me during council comments, and again during an appointment deliberation vote. That is not procedural, that is not neutral. That is an elected official responding directly to a citizen because she didn't like what was said. Then, at another meeting, she publicly characterized lawful speech as abusive and suggested it should not have been permitted. The town manager clearly stated that public comment is protected by freedom of speech. First Amendment. This is not isolated, it's a pattern. Councilor Bordelon attacks others freely, councilors, residents, staff, and then presents herself as the victim the moment anyone pushes back. When she speaks forcefully, it's leadership. When citizens speak forcefully, it's abuse. It's not equality. That is not equality. That is not fairness. That is power pretending to be wounded. When I was mayor, Councilor Bordelon criticized me repeatedly from this diocese. I never tried to realign her comments as abusive. I never suggested her speech was improper. I defended her right to speak because she was challenging a colleague. Today, I am the citizen. She is the authority. And instead of respecting that line, she responds to public comment, condemns it afterward, and attempts to delegitimize it on the record. That is exactly the kind of conduct public comment rules are designed to prevent. Freedom of speech does not exist to protect elected officials from discomfort. It exists to protect citizens when elected officials become uncomfortable. So I'm asking this council directly, will you enforce your own rules? Will you stop councilors from responding to citizens' comments? And will you finally hold Councilor Bordelon accountable for repeatedly violating that boundary and censure her? Because free speech that only applies when it's convenient is not free speech. Thank you for your time. And now that I have a little bit of time left over, I'm also going to support the mobile home community. And so should all of you, because I have done this for years, and I believe all of you should as well. Thank you, and I also have some information that I would like to hand out to all the counselors showing the documentation that shows all the comments that have been made, along with some information for you, because I honestly think a censure is absolutely warranted in this case. Thank you.
All right. Receipt of citizens petition is now ended at 7:15 p.m. We will now move on to the consent calendar. Councilor McBride, before we start, Councilor McBride arrived at 6:48 p.m. Councilor McBride, would you be able to do the consent calendar, or would you like me to move on to the next person?
If you could move on to the next person, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Good?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that we accept the consent calendar, special 2025-1203, special trust fund contributions for February 2026, and the 2026-79, January 6, 2026 minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Counsel Good and seconded by Counsel Fitzgerald. Is there any discussion? Counsel Bordelon.
Thank you. Again, I want to just highlight the fact, without reading all the names, that there are a lot of community people that continually donate to many different things, like the food locker, Groton Utilities, energy assistance, social services. But I mean, some of these are business owners, some of these are private citizens, but it's definitely over a page and a half of funds and monies that people outside have been willing to donate. So I think that is much appreciated on from my end, and I think it shouldn't go unrecognized. So thank you for the folks who continually, businesses, outside resource agencies, and individuals who continue to donate to help people most in need. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that passes 9-0, and I should say, any nays, any abstentions? That motion passes with 9-0-0. Next, we're on to communications and reports. Actually, I'm going to do Counselor McBride first.
No comment at this time, thank you.
Counselor Good,
No comment at this time, thank you.
Counselor Fitzgerald.
I just want to, I realized that the winter storm we had last week, there was a lot of cleanup effort, and I watched it in downtown Mystic and saw some publications about the scope of that work. They reported through the planning department that 70 triaxles of snow were removed from Mystic, which was a huge help to local businesses. And they reported 24 of our town vehicles were part of that effort. I just also want to mention the Super Bowl is this Saturday, which is put on at Thrive 55 from 5 to 7. It's focused on eliminating hunger in our community. And I also received information about an upcoming event at the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments that's focused on building relationships and studying the needs of the Navy base and its stakeholders. And that event will be on February 18th at 6 p.m. at Thrive 55.
All set?
Yep.
Counselor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have just two things. I attended the Golf Advisory Board meeting last night as they're working on the current rates coming up for the following year, or this next year. I also received some nice comments from residents on the snow removal and how great a job our Public Works did, and they were very thankful for the responsiveness and what they did. So thank you to the Public Works for all the work. Thank you.
Counselor Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have nothing at this time.
Counselor Burrell?
Yes, at the council of the whole meeting, I forgot to attend. Councilor Fitzgerald reminded me that I also attended the Groton Open House at the Senior Center. So I wanted to get that.
Okay. Counselor Bordelon?
Thank you. Let's see. Just want to say, I hope that folks try to find the time to attend any Black History Month events. I know that I helped kind of run a few with the help of town staff a few years, and then I guess town staff are going to take it over. I'm not sure. I don't know. We were doing flags and everything. I guess when I have a chance, I can ask the town manager, is there any events scheduled, and will they put flags up again? Also, I got to attend my first Black History Month kind of thing. It was in January, but it was at Ledgerd High School. They did a fundraiser for the MLK Scholarship. They had singing. They had just great camaraderie. It was wonderful. Today, I got to attend a luncheon, not to do with Black History Month, but it was for Discovery to a Cure for women's reproductive health. The keynote speaker was Dr. Ratner, who is a oncology surgeon from Yale, who spoke today at the Seaport at the Del Mar. It was heavily attended. It was just phenomenal to be around not only survivors, but people in the background of expertise, and so it was just all around just wonderful. The Navy Ball is coming up, which is pretty cool always. I've attended many of those. Received a lot of communications from folks regarding snow removal, of course. I do thank our Public Works for the snow removal. But I know that some people are still concerned on some areas. I live in the city side, and, in the city, they didn't come through and pick all the snow up in the high-dense areas like they did in Mystic, and so people are still struggling. My concern are the people who are disabled or handicapped. They use wheelchairs to get out to go to the store, and they're in the middle of the road because some of the shoveling is not wide enough. And so folks have asked me, if people that are responsible to shovel this, if they don't do it, do the towns do it and then just fine the residents or the businesses that's condemned? I said I would ask. But people were concerned from a safety standpoint, being, wanting to get out of the road. Even today, a school bus let out in the city-town line, and the kids were all on the road until they could get around the mound. So their efforts are still out there. I'm not sure what else can be done, but I know people are concerned about it from a safety standpoint. It's no criticism against the town. Obviously, we did the best we could with the storm we had. But maybe on the city side or the more congested areas like we did in Mystic, maybe we should deport the snow and move it around so that people can get through. So those are some concerns. People reached out to me about personnel and appointment, taxes coming up this year, a lawsuit with the robotics group from the Board of Education, the sign issue, rule changes, and I think that is all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Merritt.
Yes, I'd like to remark on the snow removal. I took 2 trips up to the highway garage while the people were up there working during the daytime, and I observed and heard what was going on. And one interesting thing was, after all the work they had put in and all the time, it came to the issue of Mystic, and they were talking about going home, and the foreman walked into the room and said, pointed to each one of the people he wanted, and he said, 2 o'clock Mystic tomorrow morning. That's all he said, and they said, okay, we'll be there, after they'd worked all the previous hours. I think it's a good dedication, and I feel that it should be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who has donated, and thank you to our Public Works, as well as our fire departments and our police departments. I know I said that last week, but they all had to work during the storm, and thank you very much. Concerning snow, I believe there's there's an ordinance that the snow has to be picked up, but we'll confirm with Mr. Burt about that. There are some Black History events coming up. I believe the Mystic Chamber is doing their event again at, I forgot the name of the church. It's on the corner. It's every year. Please check Mystic Chamber's website for it. There's an event at Mitchell College on Sunday, and Super Bowl will be exciting to go to because I'll be there, so say hello, please. I know a few of us are volunteering. Let me see. There are a couple of events. I want to congratulate Tamara Lanier, who's coming to do the book From These Roots, has been nominated by the NAACP for an Image Award. So fingers crossed that she hears about it, so congratulations. And I know Dr. Espy is one of the people that will be doing the Thames River Heritage event, and thank you to all those who are participating for Black History Month. And that's all I have to report. Clerk of the Council.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Clerk of the Representative Town Meeting.
Their next meeting is February 11 at 7 p.m. at 5:55, and there's still 4 seats available, vacant, I should say. District 1, 1 Democratic seat. District 3, 1 minority, and District 4, 2 minority. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Burt.
Good evening. Oops, sorry. In terms of the snow, there is an ordinance that requires the residents to shovel sidewalks in front of their properties. We would not have the capacity to do it ourselves without further people being added in. So if someone isn't able to do it, it's incumbent upon them to hire someone or, line someone up to do the snow removal. Black History Month flag should be going up soon. There's not an event scheduled this year. The committee's had some turnover that usually does that, and they're kind of looking at where their priorities are going to be because there's so many things they could do. A note on town attorney, they do not select which things to defend. They do what we say. So just a note, they never select what to defend. Athletic fields update, we just received RFQs for engineering services for the Fitch High School football track facility. There's a group that will be reviewing those RFQs to select the company to move to the next stages. Budget, I did incorporate, we're in the middle of our budget process internally, but we have put in a part-time veterans rep position in human services and a grant, and funding the grant writer in the planning department. And I'm going through the process now of working with the cannabis funds for the 1084 funds, and that's working out well. The form worked out well. Groton Sale has requested space with the town for approximately a year to do fundraising and planning as they get into the next stages. We're working with the fire marshal on space in the former Fitch Middle to see if we can put them in there. We do have the room. It's can we put them in there? So we're working through that. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
I have my hand.
Go ahead, Councilman Blunt.
Quick question through the mayor to the town manager. I forgot my question. Hold on. Where did I write it? Sorry, my time is going. It will come to me. I apologize. I think I lost it. Oh my God, I never lose the thought. What was my question? Oh, the Black History Month. If the town is not able to do it, is there a way that you guys can put it out in a timely manner so other people, like the 2 years that I ran programs, I would have gathered, people to.
Right now, we don't have the staff for setup. We're so down on staff.
Okay.
And I did mean to compliment Public Works. They're down 5 drivers right now, and it's a lot of work on them. And we're just all around having trouble finding employees right now.
Okay. I think that was my only question. I had something else, but it slipped. I could always ask you another time. Thank you.
Committee reports, we had our committee of the whole last week. Well, we had 2, so the information from those meetings we're going to be voting on tonight. And that's all I have to report on that. Personal appointments, Chair Good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we had 2 applicants this past meeting, and we'll go over that during regular business.
Councilor Pacino.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Temporary Rules and Procedure Committee had a meeting on January 23rd at 5:30. We had 1 item to discuss with 7 parts, and that is part of tonight's meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. Chair Burrell.
No meeting to report.
No meeting, no report. I'm going to ask for a 5-minute recess at 7:29.
Point of information?
5, we're in recess. Thank you. We are now back from recess at 7:37, and we are now on to new business. I believe that is Counselor Fish, oh, actually, I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to have the chairperson report that. Counselor Pacino, please.
Apologize, I didn't realize I was in. That's
Page
me.
16, please.
That's me. Give me a second, wait, I have dual glasses. I have it there, so there we go. There's the paper. Alrighty, thank you, Madam Mayor. Town Council, 35th Rules and Procedures, item number 2026-44. Did I grab the wrong thing here? Wait a second. I did. I'm sorry. I read from the wrong agenda. Give me a second. I apologize, folks. There we go.
Page 16.
Okay, so it's the same anyway. Item number 2026-44, Town Council 35th Rules and Procedures Resolution. Whereas the temporary Town Council Rules and Procedures Committee met on January 23rd, 2026, and made suggested changes to the rules. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Council adopts the rules of procedure of the 35th Town Council attached rules and to be effective immediately. I so move.
Second, Jones?
Motion has been moved and seconded, Pacino and Jones, and discussion.
Point of information?
Discussion.
I have a point of information first,
What is your point of information?
just to make sure I understood. So I did watch the meetings, but my question is, can you, in your statement, just so I understand, where did these rule changes come from? Who submitted them? I didn't see, I couldn't find that.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. I thought that was you asking about the motion on the floor and discussion about what was presented.
That is what I'm asking, is what's
So
presented.
then that's your time, it's not a point of information.
Sure, then I'll take my time. So my first question is, where did these rules come from?
Who are you asking?
Whoever, through you, the mayor or the chair, where did these changes
Sorry,
come
point
from?
of order.
Come from?
Your point of order?
There hasn't been a motion or a second. It hasn't gotten to the discussion phase yet.
She just gave.
I just gave her permission to go to
Okay,
this.
sorry.
Thank you. Yes, you can answer.
I believe these came from, thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe these came from various sources of town councilors, town manager, and we put it together in one item to be discussed.
Okay, because I haven't seen any of the meetings where all that with the town manager, I haven't seen the collaboration anywhere, that's why I was asking. Because usually you kind of, it helps if you know where the referral comes from and the reason why, so that's why I was asking. So, so it's just various people and counselors, no names, no, does anyone own any of these? Like, usually if you have a referral, you say, I make a recommendation to change number line 3, and here's my reason. So that's what I was asking. So is there anybody that wants to speak to these at their turn as to their reasons for these changes perhaps and where they got them from? Because in the past, rules, meetings, folks would deliberate and say, I would like, on real time on the camera, they would say, I'd like to change rule A. And I'd like, oh, what would you like to change this to? And there'd be like a conversation and someone would say, yeah, that's my recommendation. And others would say, oh, that's kind of a good idea. Or sometimes rule committee meetings in the past, people would come with their 3 most changes and then they'd present those. And then there'd be a consensus of the people on the rules committee as to which ones they wanted to go after and put into the rules or change or not. And I haven't seen any of that deliberation, so I was just curious, because I'm voting on something, and I have been watching the meetings as to, who and why, and where they came from, so I could understand better. And again, like I stated, in the past, if you had 3 members on there, each counselor, some would have no rules, some would show up and say, I have no rule changes, I'm open to whatever else everyone else has, and the other 2 people might have 1 or 2 changes, and it's thrown on the floor, it's discussed, it's edited in real time amongst the people if they're interested. Some may oppose but might throw an edit, and I was just confused. And then people would actually say, or it would be a referral from a counselor, which is FOIable, it would be sent from, Counselor Bordelon sent a rule referral change to the committee. So I just didn't see any of that, and I was trying to understand, and actually people reached out to me and asked me, do you know where the rules came from? So if there's been some collaboration and the manager put forth some names of rules and other people, I don't know why no one's saying where, it would be helpful. So I guess through the, if there's other people involved in this, did the attorneys write this, like the language? I don't know. It just, in the past, there was much more on the camera, in my opinion, to be able to understand. And then usually on the day of presenting the rules, the person who wanted to change rules C, D, F, G, or cut something would actually then speak to their reason that they made their referral, if it came from them, on why they would like this rule changed. So again, those are my questions. I think it's important to know why. Thank you.
Councilor McBride.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to apologize for being late to the meeting. Secondly, I want to thank the Rules Committee for the work that they were done in the open, honest conversation at the meeting. Thirdly, I'd like to just state my viewpoints on a few of these. There's six rule changes I think are summarized. I think number one, displaying a sign I am completely opposed to. I don't think it's going to achieve anything. And this is some of the points I mentioned in the committee meeting. I think if you restrict this, it's not going to, the people that still want to provide their comments and thoughts are going to do it in different ways. I can imagine people wearing shirts with the same information that's on the signs. I can see people wearing hats with the same information on the signs. And I think it's, I don't think there's anything wrong with people bringing signs. I understand the purpose of some of the other ones, but number one, I'm opposed to. Number two, regarding business conduct, I think that makes sense, and I there's no need for any of the boisterous activity that this is trying to minimize. I do want to thank the committee for discussing and removing the clapping, because I think the clapping is a reasonable thing for citizens to do in a meeting. So I think that was a good change. Number three, I think there's just administrative cleanups. That's fine. Number four, I agree with the orphan position on the committee, so I'm in favor of that. Number five, I am opposed to. I don't think the mayor should have the full authority to set the minutes for the meeting. I actually may be in disagreement with some of the town manager's words with regards to the legal team on how their thoughts. I perceive Rule 11A regarding citizens petition. It is totally different than Rule 5H, which talks about presentations and updates. So one, I'm opposed to. Number six, I also feel like the form of government we have is a weak form of government. I don't think this, I think anymore, it gives too much power to him or her, and I don't think it's something that the mayor should be able to do. I'm in favor of the council making that decision, so I'm opposed to that. The most important thing I want to say, though, is I really believe that these should be voted on individually. I do think there are a few that are good, except I think there's a few others that I'm opposed to, and I don't think these should be voted on in entirety. So I'm not sure how we can go about doing that, Mayor, if we can go through and do them individually. I'm happy to make a motion to do them individually if that's needed, but I do think each one needs attention, and I think every councilor should have the ability to voice his or her opinion on each matter. So that's all I have to say at this time. Thank you.
Any other? I want to give everybody first turns. Council Good?
Yeah, I'd like to move to send these back to the Rules Committee and come back to us as individual rule changes, individual motions.
Second?
Oh, I don't, you can't. Mr. Burt?
Well, you can do that here. You don't need to send it back. You can take a, even though it's in one resolution, you can vote on each thing separately. That's fine.
Or we're going to do it.
The committee really doesn't dictate that.
Then I withdraw my motion.
Okay, thank you.
withdraw your second? He withdrew his motion?
All right, that's fine.
Mr. Burt, can we do it as a consensus and vote for the whole thing as a whole?
If that's, I mean, it's up to the council.
Because I think that would probably be the best way to do it. Each one gives everybody, that's,
Point of information?
I'm not done. And actually, no, we're not doing point of information right now, because I'm trying to figure this one out. Because everybody's already had a turn under the thing, the full motion. So I have to make sure I make it as a whole motion, and then you want it as individuals. So I will take that as, I can see, we'll vote to see a consensus if we want to take it individually, as a whole, individually as a consensus, or individually as each motion, and then vote using the whole thing as a whole with any changes we've made. Are we clear?
Not clear.
So the first one is, are we going to, the consensus, I'm going to take a consensus vote to vote for these individually as a consensus. How many would like that?
Point of information. I'm unclear. I can't vote on something I don't know.
I'm explaining it.
Right, but I'm not, you're about to take a vote. I'm not clear still.
I just said we're going to take, at the motion, the consensus is to vote for them as individual things as a consensus.
I'm
And then to
unclear.
vote for everything as a whole after we review these as a consensus to get what they want. We can have a discussion.
I'm just confused. So you're asking, to make sure I'm understanding, you're asking for a consensus to a consensus if we
A
should vote them in?
consensus to figure out if we're going to do these individually as a, there's three options. We can do it as a whole to vote the whole thing in. Part two of that is we take them individually and do it as a consensus. Part three is vote for them individually. First one's already, the motion's already on the floor. Second one is, do we take each one individually as consensus? And then go to the full motion. It's still the same thing. Or we vote each one individually and still have to do the motion that's on, the main motion on the floor. So how many motions can we have? Because technically, we can only have three motions, a main motion and two motions on the floor. And we already have one main motion on the floor. Mr. Burt,
Sorry. say
we
again.
have one motion, main motion on the floor. We're only allowed three, one main motion and two amendments. How will we do these seven individually?
I would just read it, if you want to do them completely separate, just read one, make one motion for each thing, just get rid of the original motion. Make
All right, so-
6 motions.
Then that would be a withdrawal of the thing. And Council McBride, I'll be with you in one moment. So either we take the motion back, or, Council McBride, did you have your
Yes,
hand?
I was just going to make a motion to approve number 3, delete Rule 7, order of business, 6, consent calendar, C, deletions, additions from the town council, referrals.
Say that again?
I'm making a motion for the approval of number 3, delete Rule 7, order of business, 6, consent calendar, C, deletions and additions from the town council, referrals. In other words, I'm making a motion to do this individually.
Second.
You're only moving forth one motion?
At this point, that's what Town Manager Burke was recommending if we wanted to do it individually, so I'm moving forward in that manner.
That's not what he
No, I was
said.
saying, like, you have item number 1 under Rule 2, you just make a motion for that. Number 2, you make, once you're done with that one, you make a motion for the next one, et cetera.
So what I'm going to ask is for Counselor Pacino and Counselor Jones to withdraw their motions, main motions on the floor, to vote individually.
I withdraw my second.
I'll withdraw my first.
Okay. We will take this individually.
Thank you.
Counselor Pacino, this is actually under you, so go ahead.
How many rounds do you want to do, Madam Mayor?
Technically, we can do two.
Okay.
So could you make a motion for the first one, please?
I will. Get the verbiage. I motion to change under Rule 2 to add E, no person in attendance of a meeting of a town council, its committee of the whole, or any council committee shall display a sign, banner, poster, or other material in the town facility where the meeting is being held during the conducting of council, committee of the whole, or other committee business. I so move.
Second. We can now have discussion. Council Bordelon.
Thank you. Again, I think from what I've heard from folks and what I've seen, I haven't seen anybody ever here that was violent with a sign. In fact, it was helpful because some people just held their sign and decided not to speak. I think people do feel that their voice is not being heard, and we have one public comment a month. Sometimes it's limited, down to 5, down to 3. I think when you start going after your First Amendment right to freedom of speech and allowing people to address and articulate themselves, not everybody wants to speak at a podium. We have to think about that. Not everyone has the courage to stand up there. They don't want to be on camera per se, or they don't want to talk. Sometimes silence is their right to protest quietly. When you look across the nation, most things that everyone's done, and what many people have been to these types of things, people are standing out signs everywhere. It's peaceful, it's quiet. I haven't seen anyone come here that had a sign that was violent. Do I think that some people have come to public comment and have displayed acts that made, but those people didn't bring signs. They brought cameras and caused, possible disruptions at times, absolutely, but they weren't the people holding signs. So I firmly believe that we have an obligation to allow our citizens to articulate themselves and express themselves in any way that they feel comfortable. I also, think of other folks with disabilities who, like I stated, might not have the ability to speak. And again, sometimes not saying anything is the nicest way to say something. And for them, holding a sign is, a way staying quiet, calm, and having decorum. Just because we don't like what's on those signs doesn't make it wrong. It's just coming up recently on the heels. Every time something happens, I feel like there's a knee-jerk reaction to change the rules, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to represent the people, and if people come with signs, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, rule change, it just seems to me, for me, to be out of line in telling our constituents what they can and can't do. And if people were throwing signs and all that, that would be a different thing. But I firmly believe that this is their personal First Amendment right, and we should respect that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Council Good?
Yeah, I am not for this change in the rules.
Don't want the rule.
Do not want this change in the rule, and I will vote against it. Thank you.
Councilor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm still mixed on this one. I have a question, and then I just have something I wrote, but I still haven't firmly set my opinion on it. It says in here, poster any of the material in the town facility where the meeting is being held. Does that count for the lobbies and the building? Counts for everywhere in the building?
Yes.
Okay. So I've had put this together, and I'll just read it, and as I said, I'm not exactly sure where I'm voting yet. The rule change is limited to signs in the council chamber is consistent with limits we've already placed on campaign signs and materials at polling locations where such items are not allowed inside the voting area. Signs outside are permitted, but not in the voting or council areas. In order to protect voters and residents from pressure or intimidation and to help prevent conflicts and disruptions. In Groton, state voting laws create a 75-foot buffer zone around polling places for this reason. We are not limiting anyone's freedom of speech. People remain free to hold signs outside the council chamber, just not inside. This approach is also in line with the Connecticut General Assembly's own practice of limiting signage in its chambers. Keeping the council chamber free of signs helps maintain a neutral environment for government businesses rather than creating the atmosphere of a campaign rally. We've heard from residents who are hesitant to speak because they feel intimidated by signs, and others whose views is blocked by them. So I'm still waiting to listen to everybody, and then I'll make a decision.
Okay. Any first-timers before I'm going to say something myself? Are you okay? All right. Oh, Councilor Pacino first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Oops, that's the wrong button. There we go. I feel it leads, the signs could lead to a hostile environment for the citizens who are in the chambers. Who may not have those beliefs and can be intimidating to those same citizens in our chambers. Our chambers need to be a safe place for citizens to witness town government in action. And that is the only reason I'm going to vote for this. Thank you.
Okay. So I've heard everybody say they're against it. I've heard people say they're for it. The reason why I would be for it with some changes is because I had several people come up to me when the last time people brought signs in, they actually did block people's view in the audience. So if we have signs, I would suggest that it be a static display, that it's not them holding it at their seats. They can put it along the walls, but it has to be a small sign because, again, people need to see us too. So it's an interaction with the quiet ones who don't bring signs and the other ones who they may feel intimidated. This will ensure that the public's view is not obstructed. Part two of that is that we have to remind everyone that cannot contain anything threatening or any hate speech because that is against the law. Citizens are allowed to come speak at the town council meetings, or they also have the opportunity to send emails. And then some people have their phone numbers available, or they can come and speak to us. They see us out in the streets. So there's an opportunity for people to speak to their counselors. This rule is not taking away the freedom of speech. It's just ensuring that the rest of the people in the audience can be able to see the meeting. We put ourselves in the positions of being elected officials. Yes, we're going to see signs. Yes, they're going to be in our faces to a degree. It's personal space though. But the audience does not have the opportunity. So we are supposed to protect all our residents. We are supposed to be representing not just the group who brings signs, but the ones who don't bring signs. And that, if you guys don't want the signs, or we can change it to say small signs be allowed, but must be at the rear of the council chambers and cannot be held by any individual, so that it ensures the public's view is not obstructed. Just my thought. Mr. Burt.
I just want to make a comment. I just want to make sure we're not going to affix things to the wall with tape or staples or tacks.
No, nothing like that. I mean, they can sit in the back and hold them up in the back. That's my thought.
That's what I want to make sure.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want it to obstruct the people that are sitting here, or they're a row
totally
behind them
understand.
and they're
Yeah.
holding up a sign and they can't see us. I've had several people tell me that. Council Merritt.
Just reading the third line down, in the town facility where the meeting is being held, just change that to council chambers. I think that would be sufficient. I will say that this could open the door to other meetings being held in the building. Just be advised of that. What's good for one is good for the other, so to speak. The Shellfish Commission, which I've attended several meetings, there's been some very tense issues there, and people could have brought signage if they wanted to. In that small room, the meeting would never survive. We have to have a rule, a decorum somehow.
Any others? Council, let me just make sure that there's no first time
Point of information,
point of information.
through the mayor to Councilor Merritt. Was that a motion?
No, but it can be.
Motion to amend. That's what I thought he was trying to do.
That would be my intent.
Do you want to make that as a motion?
Yes, I will. I just don't want to spend a whole lot of time on useless gibberish over piecemealing this rule here and then wind up several minutes down the road with nothing done.
So I need a second.
Second?
So just to confirm, you want no person in attendance of a meeting of the council, its committee of the whole, or any council committee shall display a sign, banner, poster, or other material in the town council chambers where the meeting is being held during the conducting of council, committee of the whole, or other committee business.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is a
Point of
amendment.
information again? I'm sorry.
Your point of information?
No matter where the town council is having their meeting, I believe that that is the chambers, no matter where we're having that meeting. If we're at
What's the question?
555, is
What-
that, at that moment, chambers?
Mr. Burt, your interpretation?
I was thinking about the same thing. I could agree with that interpretation, that wherever you're holding the meeting is your council chambers at the time. It's not like we call this the council chambers, this is CR1. You know, we use it for a variety of purposes.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Thank you very much, Mr. Burton.
Council Borderline for the amendment.
I'm sorry?
Only for the amendment.
We're not taking our second turn for
He put a motion on the floor and it was seconded. We're on the amendment now.
the other one is still on the floor, isn't it?
After this amendment either passes or fails.
So we can't talk about all the amendments on the floor?
No, ma'am. He only put one amendment. We're only talking about this one amendment he just made.
I just wanted to clarify, but we also had the other one that was put down originally.
Yes, but he just made an amendment, so it starts fresh.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I can't agree with that. Again, back to what I stated. If it's a problem with worrying if people see, then if people show up with signs, put all the people in signs on one side and other people sit on the other side. Also, Mayor Parker said, stand in the back. That's another great way to, I can't support just limiting people's ability. But
Point of
again.
information?
Speaking.
I said point of
All right,
information.
but can I finish? Because by that, I don't hear. Something I finish?
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
You're going to take point of information and then
Can-
middle of
Excuse me.
council speaking?
I was going to say, go ahead, and your time needs to run. So
Okay.
I was giving it to you,
Sure.
but you cut me off.
Well, I'm cut off all the time, so it's tough up here. Yes, I feel that the signs should not be taken away from people's right. But again, who sent this referral? Because I think whoever sent this referral, if they speak to it, it might help us understand more clearly. So do we know where this referral came from? Is it in our emails that can be FOI'd? Who sent the referral? Did it come from the town manager? You said the town manager was involved.
Can you please speak to?
I am. I'm asking where this referral came from so I can understand how to
Where's
vote.
speaking to the amendment?
The amendment that's on the floor that refers to the way in which someone sent this over. My question is, where did this come from? No one has an answer. So again, I struggle because I want to defend why. The why is so important to me Because we're moving amendments on it and all that. If you stick to the why, whoever sent this, it was said, by the chair that the manager was involved, other maybe town staff and counselors. None of that was on camera. I don't have any emails or minutes about this. I just want to know where it came from, because that also helps me to decide how to vote on this amendment. I can't support this amendment. I appreciate you putting that forward. I do think that we should stick as follows, which is leave it as it is. If it can be simple. We can put a sign on the door. It can say, if you have signs, please be courteous and hold them in the back, or put them to one side or the other. I think people are reasonable. Most of the people here, we haven't had any violence. And to say people are intimidated, people are standing out in Mystic at the thing with flags and signs in New London. People are going out even more. No one feels intimidated. There's no violence that's happening by holding a sign. And to inflict a sign being violent, if a person feels overwhelmed by it. The other thing is, how are we going to control what's on the sign? It said nothing with, we don't control what people say at the podium. People can say mean, derogatory things there. So how can we control that on a sign? I don't understand. What's the difference? Not that I'm for it, but if you have the freedom of speech to say mean things about whoever you want, counselors or people or anything.
Point of order. You're talking about, again, I'm going to say Rule 11B, you're discussing something that happened. You are pointing out that someone discussed something. You got to stop for time, please. 11B, point of order.
Okay. So if someone comes up and says anything from the podium about anybody in the room, town staff or anything, we have no control over that. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm asking, because you're asking, on this, we're asking that they can't put this on a sign that's derogatory. So what's the difference if they do it at the podium on our own sign? So that's my question. How are you controlling that? Who's going to be the grammar editor to validate, but then if the next person speaks, at a podium differently, what's the difference between the sign and the podium? That's my question. So that's something we have to consider.
Councilor Merritt,
Yes.
you had your hand raised.
Well, for one thing, I think that the next rule down would cover what's being spoken of. Anything that's on a sign that we find disruptive or disorderly, lewd, etc., I think we can declare that at the time it happens.
Mayor?
Mr. Burt?
Any rule you do has to be content neutral. You cannot speak as to what's in that sign. That's a pretty solid law established. So, yeah, you should not talk about the content of signs. It should be just about the size and if it's about blocking or whatever it is.
Thank you. You're all set, Councilor Merritt?
Yes, I still hold to my amendment. I think it clearly defines the area, and that's all I'm talking about.
Thank you. Councilor Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This amendment and what we're speaking on this set of turns to speak is only discussing the word facility, changing to the words council chambers. That is it. I mean, I can appreciate everything that another councilor spoke passionately about, but it had nothing to do with this amendment. So with that said, I am all for this amendment, changing that wording to council chambers.
Any other hands? Okay. We're now going to vote on the change from facility to council chambers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you get that? Can you keep your hands up for a moment, please? That's Councilor
Aye.
Merritt, Burrell, Pacino, Jones, and myself. Any noes?
No.
Aye.
McBride is a no.
That's McBride, Bordelon, Fitzgerald, and Good. That passes 4 to 0, with the word changed to council chambers. Okay, we're back to the main motion with the change of council chambers. We're now going to go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All right, so there's 4. Any noes?
Nay?
No.
No.
McBride is a no.
Okay. The yes were Jones, Parker, Pacino, and Merritt, and the noes were Bordelon, Burrill, Fitzgerald, Good, and McBride. So that motion fails. We are now on to rule number 2. Add Rule 5. I need someone to read that as a motion. Council Jones?
2026-44, Rule Number 2, add Rule 5, new F, and renaming existing F through H to G through I. Members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of obscene, lewd, loud, threatening, or abusive language, whistling, yelling, stamping of feet, or other acts which interrupt, disturb, disrupt, impede, or otherwise render the orderly conduct of the town council meeting feasible. So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Jones and seconded by Fitzgerald. We have a round to talk. Any discussion? Council Bordelon?
I actually can agree with, this is F we're working at, correct?
Number 2, correct.
Um,
On page 15.
Yeah, I don't believe anyone should be threatening, yelling from the audience. But again, we have no control of it at the podium, is that correct? Like, we only are controlling it if you're in the audience. So you can't act like this as a member, but once you hit the podium, you can. Because we can't control speed of speech. So if a person is being threatening or saying rude and obstructive things at the podium, they're allowed to in the council chambers, but not at their seat as an attendee. Is that what that means? Or, I mean, because we were told we can't control what people say at the podium. So that's my first question.
Can you pause that? Who are you directing the question to?
Through the mayor to the town manager, perhaps. How are we gonna?
Mr. Burt?
Yeah, there's a lot of latitude given to speakers, other than there's a few key words, fighting words that are prohibited by state law. Other than that, there's as long as it's not actually halting the business of the town, they go past their time and they refuse, that's a different thing. You can obviously control that, So yes, this would apply to the audience, but not the speaker.
Okay. So for me, definitely don't want any violence or threatening. I think that's what I would say. So my amendment would be, members of the audience shall not engage in threatening acts. I think that's it, because they're allowed to do it at the podium. I don't think people should be, doing any abusive or threatening would be my amendment. Because other than that,
Okay, you can't speak anymore. You need a second.
McBride will second for discussion.
I guess what I'm trying to get at.
Wait, could you, so what I'm hearing, because it's been seconded, is members of the audience shall not engage in.
I would say, basically, any threatening, basically, or not engaging in any threatening behavior in the audience. I think that pretty much covers it. Because it's my opinion, it's going to be hard to tell, like, did someone kind of move their foot? I mean, we can't sit here and coach watching each person in the audience, and then they can go to the podium and say whatever they want, I just don't want anyone to feel threatened. They can threaten us at the podium, but they can't at their seat. But again, I think this is a little bit overkill for me. I think abusive behavior or threatening or abusive behavior towards.
Okay, so you originally said any threatening. So are you making an amendment to your amendment? Or you
Maybe
just
I said
want-
it wrong, so I'll clear myself up. Making sure that nobody in the audience is engaging in any abusive or threatening behavior. That would be it.
Councilor McBride, do you agree to that? Because you
Yes,
changed it.
yes, for discussion.
Just, okay. Madam Clerk, were you able to get that?
Point of information,
Your point of information?
is the council deleting the entire rest of this rule change?
That's what I was going to ask. Is that your intent, Councilor Bordelon?
Because I mean, it can be, I guess, because what I'm trying to, all of that's allowed at the podium. When you speak, as the town manager stated, that we can't control unless they use keywords like I'm gonna blank you or something like really a verbal threat of causing harm or injury. They can say anything. So I just don't want any threatening or abusive behavior. People should be a safe space, as it was stated. Outside of that, people might roll their head or, it's natural to kind of, your foot drops when you're kind of frustrated. So yes, all of that can still happen at the podium, so we're really not changing much. So I just feel like for me, it's a little frivolous in the sense that we can't control what people say at the podium. All of that behavior is allowed at the podium. Because of the free speech. So we can't control, people can say, as it was stated, they can say whatever they want up there. They can, whatever we can't control. So yes, obviously, no one that's causing threatening or abusive behavior is enough for me.
Councilor Pacino?
Is this starting the first round for this?
Yes.
For this amendment? I am not in favor of this amendment. I think it should stay as it is because this is not about what somebody is saying at the podium. It is about having a cohesive meeting. And if you got people in the audience who are being disruptive, that does not make a good meeting. One person at the podium who's being loud and boisterous is their free speech to be loud and boisterous. People in the audience, they're free, oh shoot, I messed this all up, I'm sorry. Their free speech is when they get to the podium, not interrupting somebody else's free speech. So this is all about having a orderly conduct during our meetings. It's not about what's going on at the podium. Whatever goes on at the podium is still an orderly meeting because one person is talking. I am not for this amendment. Thank you.
Councilor Good?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I concur with Councilor Pacino on this. This looks to me like a rule of being able to have orderly conduct within the chambers and not any kind of restriction on free speech. So I am also not for this amendment that takes away all of what this rule is about, I think. Thank you.
Councilor Jones, and then it'll be Councilor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am also not in favor of this amendment. I think this amendment is very clear. In the first 4 words, it says members of the audience. So I think the intent is pretty clear and who it's applying to. And I'm fine with the list of things. People can, it's nice that it's all listed out there. It makes it easier to make rulings and stuff. So I will vote for the original motion that was put on the floor.
Councilor Fitzgerald?
I also oppose this amendment. I believe the original reading implies both our expectation to oppose threatening behavior as well as our expectation to oppose disruptive behaviors. And I recognize that activities like whistling, yelling, stamping your feet can also coerce or create a threatening environment for other audience members. And this reading seems to be a pretty comprehensive interpretation as it is.
I'll remove my amendment, since obviously there's no need to discuss it further if the support's not there. Thank you.
Counselor McBride, you're good with moving the second?
Yes, I am. I was in support of the amendment. I just wanted to know what Councilor Bordelon had to say. Thank you.
All right. Since that's been withdrawn, it's not going to count. We're going to move to vote on the main motion. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
So that's 8 to 0 to 1 with Council Bordelon abstaining. All right. Counselor Good, can you read number 3?
I move to delete Rule 7, Order of Business, number 6, Consent Calendar C, deletions, additions from the Town Council referral list.
Second.
Just want to put in the note that this has not been used in many, many years, I think, over a decade, but.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I just
Okay.
say a couple words about it?
Go ahead, Mr.
Changes 3 through 6 are mine, just to be upfront. We had an old agenda system software that we discontinued using it about 8 years ago. The old system had its own peculiarities and wanted to input votes into it, so we just had votes on eliminating the items. So once we got the new software, ProVox, we just quit doing that. We had flagged this when we did the rules 2 years ago, but it was too late in the process. We're like, we'll take care of it next time.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, I'm moving forward to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Counselor McBride?
Aye.
Aye, I apologize. Yes, aye.
That passes 9-0 to 0. And we're now moving to Rule 8, so that's number 4. Counselor, well, one moment. Did you have a question?
I'd like to add an amendment at this moment
For
the entire item.
No, we already voted that we're going to do it individual.
Well, I know, I want to add back a rule that didn't make it to council.
That would need to be referred back to committee,
That would be referred back to the.
since it already failed there.
But we voted on it in committee as a whole. We did consensus, but we actually voted on it as a whole.
But it's not here tonight. You'll have to bring it back again. Because we don't have it in front of us to vote on it.
Because the public did not have a chance to weigh in on it, it would at least need to be in the agenda for that, because that's a major change. People had the expectation if it failed at committee, it wouldn't be. It's not on the agenda.
Understood.
And that's not part of this rule. I just want to make it clear that's a separate rule he's mentioning, not part of number 4.
Yeah, it's not in the agenda right now. So we can bring this up at another meeting. There's one.
The committee meeting. Because
Does it have to go back to committee?
it does, because it didn't come forth as a.
Now it takes a 2/3 vote, right, to bring it back up
No,
there.
temporary rules. Oh, that's true. No, because they're still temporary. If they voted as a consensus of discussed it, they just need to bring it.
Either way, it needs 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of a moot
All
point.
right. So, again, who was I on? Counselor Fitzgerald, please. Number 4.
I move to amend Rule 8 with the adjustment to address the subject to a time limit and changing it from 5 to 3 minutes per speaker. The provisions of Rule 8D shall extend to such non-counselor speakers. And I'd note that this is to correct the time to match the current allowable speaking time of 3 minutes for counselors.
Second.
Motion made by Fitzgerald and seconded by Good. All right, discussion. Counselor Pacino.
This rule was not to limit freedom of speech from the floor and at the podium. This rule is to bring the speaking time for the counselors that they wish to give to somebody else to the minutes they currently have. No counselor who has 3 minutes can give 5 minutes. So when we give our minutes to somebody else to speak, they only going to get the 3 minutes that we have. We can't give them something we don't have. I'm done. I screwed up. I got excited.
All right. Any other hands? Okay, we're going to vote on that now. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
So that passes with 8 to 0 to 1 with Counselor Bordelon abstaining. All right, Counselor. You already did one, right?
Yes.
Counselor Burrell, could you do number 5 for me?
5?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Make a motion for Rule 9, committees and referrals, add new B, remaining existing B and E to C. F, the new rule, each counselor shall be offered a position in at least one of the 3 standing committees, including rules, personal and appointments, and public safety.
Can I get
Second.
motion made by Counselor Burrell, second by Counselor Bordelon. Discussion. Counselor Good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm fine with this, except I'd like to make a motion to change shall into may be offered.
Second, Jones?
All right, so motion amendment's been made to add the verbiage may instead of shall by Counselor Good and Counselor Jones. Or an amendment to discuss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just think that this is, the committee's appointments are an authority that the mayor has, and the mayor should have as much authority as we can give her or him to make the decisions of the committees, who's going to be on the committees. That's all. Thanks.
Any other? Counselor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm seconding this because I believe that this is the existing rule that we have. Each counselor may be offered. I believe also it's the mayor's prerogative to assign positions as they need to. And I applaud this year where all counselors were offered a position, so it didn't prevent anything from happening. Everything went forward in the correct way. But I think it should go back to the original and should be made to give the most flexibility to the counselors. A shall is an absolute, where a may gives you options.
Okay. Any other discussion? Counselor McBride.
Thank you. I'm in favor of the original motion. As I mentioned before, our former governor is a weak mayor. I think having any mayor to have complete control, they could in effect, without something like this in the rules, appoint 3 or 4 people to control all of the committee members, and I don't think that's proper. We are all elected at large by the residents, and I think each individual should have the ability to be on one committee. So I will be supporting the original one. I think it makes sense, and I think it's fair. Thank you.
Counselor Bordelon.
Thank you. I think it should say shall, as it was stated as already. I don't want to repeat. We do not have a strong mayorship here. We are an elected council by the people at large. We then pick our mayor. We hire our town manager who runs our town. Neither of us up here are paid positions, so we all deserve a piece of the puzzle, and it shouldn't be up to one person to make that decision. Again, the mayor should not be, in our form of government, the mayor should not be acting on our behalf. It's ceremonial. They are reading and putting things on the agenda and acting on our behalf, but it should be a consensus of the council of the action. They have no power outside of our governing body. It's ceremonial only. With that being said, I do appreciate this year that I was offered. So thank you to the new mayor that felt that that was a priority. But I personally think it should say that the counselors, there's 8, there's 9 seats, there's 3 committees. It should be, if everyone puts in 3 selections, everyone up here should get their top 2. Again, we're all elected at large. The community somehow wanted us here. We deserve to be on at least one of the committees that we want to be on. And there's no reason, out of 9 seats, with one person possibly doing 2 seats on something, everyone should get at their top 2 selection. Other towns do it with no problem. It shouldn't be up to the mayor. It shouldn't be what they want. It should be what we want. We were elected based on our own will and our own campaign that got us here. And so we deserve a chance to express it in the ways that we choose. I heed you with caution going back to May. Right now, we like it. It shall. Why? Because right now, we're very lucky that it's all one party. If this council was to switch another way, you may not get on. You may not get on a committee if it's another type of mayor. So this is, shall means you're respecting the voters and everyone shall get on at least one committee. So I'd like to make an amendment. My amendment would be, as it is.
You can't, it's already a motion on the, main motion on the floor.
That's how we always start. You can make an amended motion.
But to refer it back to the same motion?
I'm going to make an amendment to this motion.
Okay.
So I'm going to make an amendment to this motion, and I think it should say each counselor, well, because you already moved it, so we're on shall. We're on may right now, aren't we?
Correct.
So I have to be amending may, right? I'll have to wait until this one fails or not and then comes back. But again, there's no reason that everyone shouldn't at least get on their top 2. Again, thanks for this year for the offer. And, but, you know, the mayor doesn't have the power, should not have the power outside of this group. We are the power, the 9 of us. Thank you.
All right, we are now moving on to voting on the amendment. All those in favor for May, raise their hand. Or-
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. I'm sorry. Never mind. I read my aye.
All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so, noes, nays. You voted.
McBride is a nay.
Councilor Merritt, you just voted twice.
I'm sorry?
You voted yes the first time.
Yes, for me.
Yes, for May. This is for the ones that don't want May. Okay, that's 5. So the ones that voted for May are Jones, Good, Parker, and Merritt. Noes were Bordelon, Burrell, Pacino, Fitzgerald, and McBride. All right, so that fails. We are back to the main motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute. What are we voting?
Shall.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Wait. Councilor McBride, can you put your hand up? Can you guys put your hands up that say yes?
Yeah,
Because so I-
McBride is a yes.
Bordelon's a yes.
I asked for hands, thank you. So it's Fitzgerald, McBride, Jones, Pacino, Burrell, Bordelon, Merritt, I'm going to abstain. Any noes? And Council Good abstains, Council Good says no, and Council Parker says, Mayor Parker says abstain. So that passes with the word shall. 7 to 1 to 1. And we're now on to the next one. Councilor Bordelon, are you willing to read it, or do you want me to
I
pass
will.
it to?
You can pass. Thank you.
Councilor Merritt, could you read that number 6 for me, please?
Number 6, Rule 11. Citizens petitions. A, in accordance with Section 5.3 of the Town Charter, the order of business at regular council meetings shall provide for citizens' positions. As citizens' comments, who is not a member of the Groton Town Council may be presented orally or in writing. All presentations by citizens under this rule shall be limited to no more than 5 minutes unless otherwise indicated by a majority vote of the councilors present. Per Rule 5H, the mayor shall have the authority to limit the amount of time given for the citizens' petitions. No speaker may yield his or her time to another speaker. Citizens should address their comments to the mayor and maintain a courteous tone.
Second, Pacino.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. The first, okay, Counselor Pacino.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is to my understanding that some folks think that this is saying two different things. The no more than 5 minutes is that part of the rule. You can only go more than 5 minutes with the majority vote. That's the only time you can go more than 5 minutes. The mayor, on the other hand, can limit that 5 minutes. So it is two different things. It's not the same. So the mayor has the sole authority to limit the speaking time, depending on the situation. But if she wants to, or if anybody wants to, I suppose, go more than 5 minutes, then that would have to be a majority vote. That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Burt?
Just a comment, since this was one of the ones I put in there. I would point out that to me, the interpretation was pretty easy to see, but I see how others could see it differently. However, it's been used previous to Mayor Franco, that power was used at least once. It's been used several times. No one challenged it. That's the existing, what's in place right now. Regardless, if you don't make any changes, she has that authority. But mostly what you actually saw was the power of the mayor to set the agenda, because it was actually usually up front in the agenda, which is a totally separate thing. You have that ability too, so, as I do too. And just to point out briefly, a little just slight side is 1 of 9, the mayor's 1 of 9. However, you're also the chief elected official, which comes with certain powers in state constitution. I'm the chief executive officer, you're the chief elected official, and that does come with a difference. Once you're named mayor, you do have a bit of a difference.
Counselor Good?
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with this amendment. I think all it really does is clarifies what's already the rule. So I'm happy to see it in plain, simple terms that everybody can understand. Thank you.
Any other? Counselor Bordelon?
Thank you. I think it just should be a vote of the council for both. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, like, if someone wants to challenge it, I mean, I think anyone should say, oh, the meeting, is running, hey, let's run a vote and, change the time should we have to. I don't understand why we have to differentiate there, in my opinion. I think it is, I think 5 minutes, and then, because if you go to 5.8, I mean, to me, it kind of goes back and forth. I mean, wouldn't it just make sense to say 5 minutes unless otherwise voted on by the council? That's it. Pretty simple. Like, it doesn't have to be delineated. I mean, I think we should have, again, right now, we're all one-party, government, yay for us, but there's times when the mayor is not the same party of people standing up here, and so having the ability to invoke a vote despite what you want, it's good that the other councilors all can do that. And if it's voted down, it's voted down. But I think it should be the councilors. So I'm going to make an amendment to this. I'm just going to say that, it should be 5 minutes unless other voted by the whole 9-member council body. Like, we should, or whoever's in we should all be voting on that. So that would be my amendment.
Second.
And again,
Amendment, so just to clarify, you want the highlighted part in red, the per Rule 5H to be removed?
correct. Just a vote of the council. We're all elected at large.
All right, so now we're on discussion.
Point of information.
Point of information?
Can the full amendment be read out, please? I don't understand what this amendment is.
Council Bordelon, please read the full amendment.
Sure, so nothing changes all in black at the top. Do you agree there? Do you want me to read all that?
Yeah, I'd like the full amendment to be read, please.
Sure. Let me just make sure I can read it. If not, I might have to have someone else read it if my eyesight is not good right now. Okay, citizens petitions. A, in accordance with section 5.3 of the town charter, the order of business at regular council meetings shall provide for citizens petitions a citizen's comment. Who is not a member of the town council may be presented orally or in writing. All presentations by citizens under this rule shall be limited to no more than 5 minutes, unless otherwise indicated by a majority vote of the council president. No speaker may yield his or her time to another speaker. Citizens should address their comments to the mayor and maintain a courtesy tone. So basically just striking that per down to petitions, that's it. And, oh, sorry.
You have 30.
Oh, I'm still on the floor? Well, you asked me to read it. He had an inquiry. I wasn't up, so that wasn't my time. I'm confused, sorry. I was reading because I was told to read, and I couldn't be timed for reading. Sorry, I just want to clarify that. I didn't take my turn yet. I was answering his point of information.
You made the motion for the amendment, so you were speaking about your amendment.
That's fine, so I'm going to get, okay, make me read it, sure, whatever.
Okay.
That's fine. Courtesy tone, how are we addressing that? Who's coaching the courtesy tone too?
Courteous?
Yeah. That's my question. To the town manager.
I believe
That's
it's
not
already-
a change, though.
That's
It's
in
how
there.
it has been.
It's always been in there.
No.
Did you had a point of information. Actually, Council McBride, then Council Good. Council McBride?
Yes, thank you. I'm in support of this amendment. I do believe setting the agenda is much different than minimizing resident speech. 11A, as I mentioned earlier, deals with citizens petitions only. 5H is the piece that mentions the mayor shall set time limits for, quote, presentations or updates, end quote. That is not, in my opinion, related to citizens petitions. So as a result, I don't think that's proper to pass this. And I also believe to give that much power to any mayor, I don't think is proper. I think we're elected committee, and I think such decisions should go to the council to make those decisions. Thank you.
Council Good.
Yes, I'm fine either way with the motion as amended, because deleting that was just a clarification, so I have no problem. The original rule will stand with the amended motion, so it will still be up to the mayor if we need to reduce time, and it would take a vote to increase time, so I'm fine either way.
Point of information?
Thank you.
Your point of information?
So then, I guess, why was it put in here if it doesn't have any power? What was the point? Why are we wasting our time?
Clarification.
It doesn't make any sense.
He read the note, it's in our notes. He read the clarification.
No, I understand, but if it doesn't, why did it come forward from the rule committee if it just washes each other out anyway?
It doesn't wash each other out. It's clarifying what's existing. And just a note on the presentations, that earlier rule says the mayor can set limits on presentations or updates. That's under a general clause in there, whereas this also uses the word presentations by citizens, and what the attorneys reviewed is it's also presentations. And that word's broad enough to, and that earlier rule's broad enough to include this.
Councilor Pacino.
I reject this amendment, but in accordance with Councilor Good, it really doesn't matter whether it's there or not, because it's just clarification. It's still in the rules, under Rule 5. And I also reject the continuous comments about our weak mayor. I think everything here is just, every time they say that, they're just trying to chip away at the mayor's authority that
Point of order.
she was giving.
Your point of order?
Should not be challenging what other people saying. It's states, in state statute, it's called a weak mayor. That's how they say it. It's not, and so to apply intent is not fair. And I'm not the only one who said it, but to imply intent on the weak mayor, that's how it states when you read it online.
We done?
Are you going to rule?
It does state that, but there are some other comments that have been made. So in part about the weak mayor, I will rule that it does, the state statute says weak mayor. All other comments, I will rule against, and it needs to be refrained and need decorum under Rule 6.
Thank you.
So go ahead, Councilor Pacino, finish your time.
So I reject the thought process of trying to limit our mayor in her capacity that she was given with a 5-4 vote when she was elected to be mayor by the people who were elected to be on this council.
Any other first times before I take second turns? Councilor Merritt.
I think if you'll all take note, anytime a call is called for a vote, the last one to vote will be the mayor. If you have 4 and 4, the mayor will make the decision which way the vote goes. And that's the way it's always been and always will be. I don't know what we're discussing this and round for. It just goes around in a circle and nothing's done.
Any other first timers? All right, no? All right, oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Burrell.
Yeah, I'm in favor of this amendment, not taking away from the mayor's powers or anything else, but I don't think we should have rules limiting the amount of speech that our citizens have. And like I said, and here it is, the mayor has the ability to reduce what he was saying. And that's the only reason I don't agree about this. I agree with the 5 minutes. I just don't agree with reducing the amount of time people have to speak.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. And I am going to take my turn. Thank you. So this is a clarification. And since I've been on the longest, it has happened a couple of times where we had to reduce the time. Where there's more than 40 or 50 people and we go from 5 minutes, that's a lot of time. We will not be able to do the business at hand. If we're more than 5 minutes, we would not even get to talk about the business at hand. The time was reduced to 3 minutes to run the meeting efficiently, so that we still heard the public and we still got to be able to do our due diligence for the public. I'm not in favor of the amendment because it does clarify, but if it fails, the mayor still has the authority to change the time. And if you guys want to put it back, you guys can vote to put it back. The majority rules, if the council say they want to put it back. That's all I have to say. For the second time, Councilor McBride.
Thank you. My only comment was I understand the purpose of this, and I just think if it is in fact to clarify, I'm not in favor of it, but I think we should go back to the Rules Committee to better align 11A and 5H, and they both mirror each other. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. We are now going to vote on the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Was that Councilor McBride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's 3 in favor. All opposed?
Aye.
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 1, 2, 3, okay, and 6 opposed. In favor is Bordelon, Burrell, and McBride. And that motion fails. We are now back to the main motion on the floor. You have a question. Are you?
On the main motion.
On the main motion on the floor. Oh, yeah, because we didn't do that. All right, go ahead. Your time, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not sure if this needs to be in an amendment or just a clerical fix. It's not per Rule 5H now, it's now per Rule 5I.
Yeah, Scrivener's error, we would just adjust that on the fly.
Okay. That's it, that's all I have.
Okay. So we're now voting on the main motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. All those opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
McBride's a no.
All right, that passes 6 to 3 to 0 with Bordelon, Burrill, and McBride opposed. All right, we are now on to,
So I would do, that's the last one. So I would do the resolution, but maybe after the word attached in the last resolved, say with amendments or as amended.
all right. Actually, you know what? I will take that one. So we're going to do the main motion. Whereas the temporary Town Council Rules and Procedures Committee met on January 23rd, 2026, and made suggested changes to the rules, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council adopts the rules of procedure of the 35th Town Council as amended. I said as amended. As amended. Said rules to be effective immediately. I so move.
Second, Pacino.
Okay. Now we're going to all vote. All those in favor as amendment?
Aye. Aye.
Hands up.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. All those opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
McBride's a no.
That passes 6 to 3 to 0 with Bordelon, Burrill, and McBride abstain, no. We are now. Oh, it's 6 to 3 to 0. So, all right, we are now on page 39. And, okay, I need, Council Merritt, you've read, did you, okay, we're back at the beginning. Council Good?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's 39, okay. Item 2026-33, Citizen and Police Committee appointment. I move making the following appointment to the Citizen and Police Committee that Eric Gemp to the Citizen and Police Committee as a full member with a term expiration date of October 5th, 2027.
Second, Pacino.
Motion's been made by Good and seconded by Pacino. Any discussion? Okay. Councilor Fitzgerald.
I just want to say,
Time. Go ahead.
Mr. Gemp brings a significant experience to this role, and both through his experience in the Coast Guard and in the Secret Service, and I expect he will be a great addition in this role.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. That is 9 to 0 to 0. And we're moving on to the next item. Counselor Fitzgerald.
Item 2026-33, Historic District Commission appointment. I make a motion that the Town Council appoints Diane Barber, replacing John Goodrich, on the Historic District Commission as an alternate member with a term expiration date of December 31st, 2030.
Second.
Motion's been made by Fitzgerald, seconded by Good. Discussion. Council Bordelon.
I think Diane Barber's a great person. I may vote no or abstain from this just because of the principal matter. I feel there's a vacancy still on this board and we're not filling it, and so, and we're overlooking a member that's already on there. So I have trouble with that. I feel it's hard to find people that can volunteer and sign up, and we find people that are interested, and yet we're not filling seats and still have vacant seats. So I'm not sure how I'm going to vote on this, but again, it's nothing against Diane Barber. It's more about the process and the principle that we're putting someone on and removing someone else, not reinstating them, and we still haven't found other people to fill the seats that we have. So I think it is valuable when people do put their names forward that, yes, we're elected up here to make a decision, but if we really don't have anybody else to go on there, I mean, I think it is vital that we have people that are interested, that have been taken interest, and people who are wanting to return when there's no other applications, allowing them to serve their term in time. For me, I can't see myself really rejecting pretty much any volunteer that shows up that wants to put their name forward and do their free time and away from their family. Again, for me, no matter what I know or don't know about them or know them at all, I think it's important that people, the process is they put their name forward, and if there's vacant seats, we should try to fill them. So on this one, not sure how I'm going to go. So I will decide after, but I'm disappointed to see a member that wanted to be on here getting replaced. Actually with one of their friends, which makes it even worse. They're actually pretty good friends from my understanding, so anyway, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor McBride?
Thank you. I was just wondering if I can get some explanation as to how this occurred. I'm not up to speed with this matter. Just wondering if I can provide some explanation. I'm not sure how to vote on this because I don't understand the reason. So if anyone can provide some details, that would be great.
I believe that was, can you pause this?
I thought I did, sorry.
Who are you, Councilor McBride, who are you addressing?
It looks like the Town Council Personal Appointments Committee. Where's this recommendation coming from? Just some background on how this came about. I mean, he was a member, right? It looks
Are
like
you
he's replacing,
asking through me to ask?
Yes, through the mayor to the Town Council Personal Appointments Committee.
The council members, personal appointments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, through the mayor to the chair or members of the Town Council Personal Appointments Committee. Just some background how this came up, because I thought we had approved him as an alternate a while ago. I'm just wondering what's the reasoning for replacing him now?
If I'm remembering correctly, did his term expire?
Yes. Are you speaking about Mr. Goodrich or
Are you
Ms.
asking
Barber?
about Ms. Barber's application?
I mean, that's what's on the floor is Ms. Barber's application, right?
Correct.
Mr. Goodrich was voted at the last town council.
Okay, maybe I'm not understanding this. So it's not replacing or removing. It's just John Goodrich didn't get the appointment. This is to appoint someone to take his place. Is that what this is?
Are you, I'm not really sure if, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, maybe I'm not really
I
sure.
guess my question is, it says replacing John Goodrich. Normally, when this would come to the council, it would be simply make a recommendation to a resolution to appoint someone. I don't understand why the mention of replacing John Goodrich is in there. Was he removed from the position?
I believe I'm going to take that please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe his term expired and it was not renewed at the last council meeting. We had a vote on this, so we would have to do a 2/3 vote for that to happen. As it stands now, what's on the floor is Ms. Barber's appointment.
So just so I understand, it's really not, the replacing John Goodrich is not necessary, right? She's just being appointed.
To fill his expiration date, if I'm.
Right, but normally we never talk about replacing someone. If their expiration comes up, their term expires and we move on. That's why I was confused about the replacing. He's not being removed, his term expired, which therefore that replacing wasn't even needed, right? I just want to make sure I'm understanding it.
Mr. Burt?
The committee chose to do the replacement because he did not get renewed. You could also opt to say, and you fill any one of the vacant positions, but since he could no longer be appointed, I think it was a natural that they selected to say filling that spot. I don't like to speak for the committee, though I wasn't part of that.
Point of information?
Mr., what's your point of information? He still has time on the floor, so.
My question is, yeah, so if there's a vacant seat and the plate, there's not usually a
Okay.
person to refill, I'm getting to my question, please give me the grace.
No, I was going to say, let me have Councilor McBride, and then you can take it as your turn.
You already just took me as, I already took my point of information, so I'm going to answer my question. You already called on me. My point of information is, if you are taking this to replace someone, normally a person can just stay there until another person applies. So why are we shifting it is my question. Where did the shift come from?
Because she did apply.
Why does Diane have to fill John's position? Why can't Diane fill the vacant position? Is my question. That's where the ambiguity is here. And I agree with Council McBride. Why is John Goodrich's name
All
even
right,
on
now, I
here?
just want, okay.
So
His
it's
name is-
very confusing.
okay. I believe we answered the question a couple of times, and any other first-timers?
So I guess my question didn't get
Because-
answered. I don't feel like
I'm
point of
sorry.
information?
No.
Yes,
Council
I don't-
McBride, no.
I
Council-
don't feel
I'm
that my
sorry.
question was answered.
I'm sorry, he's still, Mr. Council McBride has time. Can you
Right,
please
but
finish his time?
You called on me, and I would like my question answered.
I already, we answered your
No,
question.
that person has a right to say, no, I would
You know
like
what?
to further.
Point of information.
No, point of order.
Point of
I
order,
already
sorry.
called it, I said, we're moving on. I want
Only
to
when I
see.
speak. Everyone else gets a different grace. Okay, thank you.
Council
Duly noted.
McBride, Council McBride, please finish your thought. You still have a minute 28 on the time.
No, thank you. I'm comfortable. I just didn't understand the nature of how this came about, but everybody provided sufficient information. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Merritt.
Yes, we have a committee that made a decision and forwarded it to us. Perhaps we should ask the committee on their choice, how they came to their choice, and then we should go by what they say. We're just wasting our time changing everything the committees forward to us.
Point of order?
What's your point of order?
Just because a committee gives you something doesn't mean you have to
That's-
act on it. So just to tell us that we should
What rule are
take
you
what they
referencing?
have is
What
not,
rule are you- what are you-
not legally binding.
What
It's a
rule?
recommendation.
What rule are you referencing?
I'm just,
Your point of
an
order?
intent of the counselor. We have no obligation to, just because a person sends a referral, it's a recommendation. It's not that we have to act on it. I appreciate the work.
We do have to act on it, so.
Right, but we don't
so-
have to take their recommendation.
All right, I'm disregarding your point of order.
Okay, good.
Okay, any other, Council Bordelon?
Thank you. Again, in the past, people, if we have vacant seats, the person would then stay on until they find a replacement, like they did with Mr. Pritchard when he was being replaced. So the fact that I feel that Diane Barber is solely to fill John Goodrich's seat solely makes no sense when we still have a vacant. Why wouldn't we just have Diane Barber fill the vacancy and let John Goodrich serve until we find a replacement? Because usually you can stay on until your replacement. And this way, it's almost like I feel it looks as if Diane Barber's purposely going, she's only filling John Goodrich's
Point of
seat
order.
versus the
Point of
vacant
order.
seat.
What's your point of order?
Please, Diane Barber is an applicant to a seat. Please do not conjecture why she applied for it. She applied for it to get the seat. She did not apply for it to knock anybody off. Please.
Let me rephrase my thing. That's not what I'm saying. I never said that. What I'm saying is, why is it set up? Diane Barber and Goodrich are friends, like she's a friend of the community.
Point of order.
So that has nothing.
Diane Barber's friends do not matter. She applied for a seat. We're voting on the application for a seat.
So what I'm trying to say
Please don't
is-
bring personalities into
That's what I'm agreeing.
an
So-
application.
So you're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
But.
I don't feel that Diane Barber is trying to
Can
take
you
John's
rule
seat.
on the point of order,
Wait, let me-
please?
I have to rule on the point of order. You did bring up their friendship, so please disregard that. We're talking about her application only, please.
Thank you. So her application only, as he stated, the other counselor through the mayor, I did not say that Diane Barber's application was solely to go after John Goodrich's seat. What I'm saying is Diane Barber could fill a vacant seat, and Goodrich could stay in his seat until we find another replacement. I'm not saying Diane Barber applied to go after John Goodrich's seat. That's not my intent, and that was not what I'm saying. In fact, I was saying they both should stay on because we have a vacancy until we find a replacement for John Goodrich's seat. So that's the question I'm asking, and I've never, like how Councilor McBride stated, I've never seen the name put here is that we're solely putting Diane Barber to fill Goodrich's seat only. Why can't she fill the vacancy? So that's my question. Why can't both be true? The time is running and I stopped and I asked a question.
I don't know who you're addressing that to.
Through the mayor.
Through the mayor to whom?
Through the chair or the town manager, whoever you can get the answer from.
Stop the time. They've already answered this question when Council McBride asked it. So we're not going to repeat the question again. It's already been decided.
through
We're
you-
now moving forward to vote.
So I'm
We're
still-
moving forward to
I still
vote.
have time left.
We're moving
So
forward
you're
to
just going to
vote.
erase my time?
No, go ahead, finish your time.
Okay.
You got a minute
Oh,
18.
okay, now you're going to give me the grace. Thank you. See, it happens, it just, my question is, through the mayor to the town manager, couldn't Diana Barber fill the vacancy and John Goodrich stay on until we find a replacement?
I had already answered that.
And your answer?
The committee chose to replace, yes, they
So the
could have,
committee
they could have
chose-
opted for either. It was up to them. That's not what's on the
Oh,
table,
okay.
though.
So I'd like to put an amendment on the floor. My amendment would be that Diana Barber fills the vacancy and John Goodrich finishes his term until a replacement comes. So it doesn't go in this way. As the town manager said, this is the way the committee put it up. It doesn't have to be done that way. It could be the other way. And again,
Waiting for your second, if you have one.
McBride will second.
and my reason is, again, as it was stated, the committee make a recommendation. The council at large makes the decisions. 3 people don't speak for the whole council on any committee. That's why it has to come back to the council. We're elected by the people at large to make decisions on behalf of everybody. So if only 3 people and we took everything they brought forward, we wouldn't be doing our job, in my opinion. So I think John Goodrich is going to sunset anyway. Let's leave him there until we find a replacement. It could take a year. Let's put Diane Barber in the vacant seat and let John Goodrich go off with grace. I hope you guys support that.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just want to clarify that Councilor Bordelon said to put him back on to his expiration date. Please note that his expiration date was December of 2025.
So he's already off.
So
But-
his expiration.
No, you don't have any more time on the floor.
Point of information, though.
No, actually.
I think there's
I'm
no
not-
limit
no,
because the town
no,
manager, usually
stop,
they can stay.
Because someone else wants to speak.
But I'm asking a point of clarification.
I said no.
But that's not appropriate. That's not even part of the rules, so I challenge that ruling. I have a
There's
right to
challenge-
ask the clarifying
There's a
question.
challenge on the floor. What's your challenge?
My challenge is, I would like to ask a clarifying question to that, because
Okay.
like
so-
Mr. Pritchard, he was able to stay in his
there's-
seat until someone was filled.
There
even though it was
is,
expired.
you're challenging my terminology or not accepting your point of clarification. We need to vote on that. And is there a second for her that?
Yes, with discussion.
Okay. So there's a ruling, this is where we vote, I believe. Am I correct, Town Manager, Mr. Burt?
Say it again.
I think this is where we vote only about the,
I believe so.
so the question is, should I take her point of clarification? Discussion, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the mayor was within her rights. I agree with the mayor's ruling on that. Are we voting?
We're voting on it. So a show of hands. We're voting, Council McBride, no further discussion. Council Bordelon wants to know if she can have her point of clarification. All those in favor, raise your hand.
Yes, you deserve the clarification.
There's 2 in favor, Bordelon and McBride. All those, any noes? Okay, that fails. 2 to 7.
I challenge the ruling per parliamentary procedure. Is a point of clarification or point of information
We're not
allowed to
discussing,
be
it. It's
limited?
over and done with. We've already had a vote on it,
It's
so
not.
we're moving forward. Counselor McBride, Counselor Merritt, is your turn.
But the rules don't say you can.
Counselor
limit
Merritt, it is your turn.
I hope you
We
limit
just
everybody
voted.
else's. That's
We
legal.
just voted on it,
But
Counselor
it's not
Bordelon.
to be voted on. It's
Point of
not a
order.
matter. Let's take a break.
No.
I want
Let's-
to take a break.
Counselor Merritt, you can
guys
take a break.
I would like to take a break.
Counselor
Yes, I
Merritt.
think that
Just going to bypass me.
the committee's
So I-
advice is appropriate. They've spent their time, and I've often said about people that have been removed from committees for being there X number of years, they're affording a space to somebody that wants to be on the committee, but they can't because the individual that's been there for years continues to be there. How are we going to get new people in on these committees? I think the advice of the appointing committee should be well taken.
We're moving to vote.
Oh, I still haven't turned.
Counselor Bordelon for your second turn.
Thank you. Through the mayor to the town manager, like Mr. Pritchard, he was able to stay until a new person was appointed. Could that be the same for this board and commission? What's the difference?
For the third time, it's just what the committee selected.
Right.
Yes.
So in refers to the clerk, or what I was trying to do was reverse that. So no, I wouldn't want him, his term is up, but he would stay in that seat and there's nobody else to fill it. Diane would be filling the vacancy.
Right. The only thing I said was because you made the amendment stating until his expiration date. And I just wanted to clarify that his expiration date already had
Perfect,
passed.
yes.
That's all.
I definitely was not trying to change his expiration date. He's already expired. And so if someone else applied, then he would then sunset. Just like what happened to Mr. Pritchard. So what I was trying to do is reverse it, so actually both would be true. And to Mr. Counselor Merritt's point, so there could be openings, but no one yet's applied. So we're he's sunsetting. What's the urgency in replacing Diane Barbara over Goodrich versus having them both be duly involved until we find another replacement and Mr. Goodrich sunsets accordingly? But as it says, yeah, fine, great, get new people, but where are they? So what I was trying to do is make it where both could serve and Goodrich can serve until someone else finally applies. But I think putting Diane Barbara's application in a way that makes John automatically have to leave, that's the part that I'm questioning and asking to reverse. Not changing his expiration, simply letting him sunset naturally when we actually get another applicant, because we have vacancies right now on this commission. So there's no urgency. And he's qualified, and he's been on for a while. So, I can agree, fine, let's get new people, but we don't have that new person yet. So I'm just questioning why we're doing it this way. I've never seen it done like this before. In the sense where we don't just put someone on and let the person sunset, that this position that we're putting for Barbara is purposely going to make Mr. Goodrich sunset. So you know what? And I wonder what she would say, but I actually think that we should, so I have a clarifying question. If we vote her down tonight, could she then reapply for the other vacant position and leave John in the open position? Is my question through the mayor to the clerk or the town manager?
I would have to say she wouldn't be able to because then there was inaction and they would have to wait a year.
Right. Okay, well, I just never seen this like this. I mean, I don't know, and who set it up like this? That's my next question. And why? Why not just let both run? That's my question to the mayor, to the chair of the Personnel and Appointment Committee, or anybody that made the decision. You're letting my time run while I'm waiting to ask the question.
Because nobody's answering you. It's still your
I
time.
went through the mayor,
It's
and I'm
still
waiting.
your
So
time.
if she doesn't respond, we just let the time run?
You pause.
I looked right
Time
at it.
doesn't.
They've already answered the question several times.
So this was intentional, they wanted it this way?
No,
that just
that's
seemed-
that's
Yeah.
not what they said.
No,
But
that seems to be the
your
case.
decorum, point of order decorum, your intent.
But why
Rule
not the other
6.
way? You didn't answer the question, why not the other way?
The committee brought this forth, we're moving forward. Okay.
But why? We have no other applications. Why not leave people serving? Is that what our job is?
Okay, time has run out, so we are going to vote on the amended motion on the floor, because I do not believe we've voted on that, correct? So the main motion, the amended motion on the floor is to have both of them be on. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
I'm sorry?
Is it aye?
McBride was a yes.
Could be point of information. What are we voting?
Her amendment, could you repeat the amendment for me?
She wants Diane Barber to be on, and also John Goodrich.
Okay.
She doesn't want Diane Barber to replace John Goodrich. She wants both to be still serving.
Okay. So we're in the middle of the vote, so that was two. All those, any noes? Okay, so that fails. There's 2 to 7 to 0 with Bordelon and McBride for yeses. We are now back to the main motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
McBride abstains for lack of information.
Actually, I'm more of
All
an
right.
abstention, actually, to be more clear, because I'm not clear, because I didn't get the answers.
Okay, that motion passes 7 to 0 to 2 with Bordelon and McBride abstaining. All right, who are we on? Counselor Jones.
2025-1137 miscellaneous regional committee appointments at ERTD, SCARA, and SCWA. Resolution making the following appointments to miscellaneous regional committees. Resolved that the town council appoint the following individuals. Eastern Regional Tourism District, Councilor Bruce Jones. Southeastern Connecticut Regional Resources Recovery Authority, Councilor Adam Pacino. Southeastern Connecticut Water Authority Representative Advisory Board, Councilor David McBride. So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Jones and seconded by Good. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's 9 to 0 to 0. We're now moving on to the next one. Councilor Pacino.
Page 42, right?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 2026-16, Early Childhood Smart Start Resolution. I'm just going to read the result. Resolved that the town council hereby is authorizing acceptance of the State of Connecticut Early Childhood Smart Start Grant in the amount of $600,000 and refers the item to the RTM per Rule 6.5.3.
Second?
Motion made by Pacino, seconded by Bordelon. Any discussion? Okay, Counselor Pacino.
Just one quick one.
Your time, please.
Thank you. Just one quick one. I'm totally for this. I just want to remind people that this here, when we were discussing this with the superintendent, is going to encompass a playground at Mary Morrison, and they have to get this money spent by June 30th. So for all those in District 4, by the end of June, you'll have another playground. That's it. Thank you.
I have a comment.
Counselor Bordelon.
Thank you. I'm in support of this. The playgrounds were already there. They just were dilapidated and not upkept, so this is just putting another one back online. I'm all for stuff in District 4, but I still hear your voices. It's not replacing it on the other side of Route 12, which is where they're lacking. It's hard for people to get over across the major highway, for children to walk in their neighborhood. So the need on the other side is still there, and I still hear you. Thank you.
No other hands? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 900. We are now on to the next one. Council Burrell. Page 43, please.
Okay, resolved that the Groton Town Council does approve the easement between the town of Groton and the United States Navy for 750 Military Highway for the purpose of operating a sewer pump station.
Second, Pacino.
Motion made by Burrell, seconded by Pacino. Any discussion? And just to let people know, we did have this meeting at the January 13th meeting. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 That's 900. We are now on to the last agenda item. Council Merritt, could you do that one, please? That's for the playground, part-time, 25, part-time seasonal pay.
This is item 2026-59. Resolved that the town council hereby approves adopting and implementing the updated part-time seasonal pay plan effective July 1st, 2026.
Second, Pacino.
Second, motion made by Merritt, seconded by Bordelon. Any discussion? Right.
I'm sorry, I said before I raised my hand. That was my bad.
Council Bordelon.
Thank you. I think this is great. Just keep in mind, these are modest raises. I mean, these people are working with our most vulnerable, which are children, and childcare is very tough and can't provide support for children in our community, so I'm in full support of this. Thank you.
Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that's 900.
Motion to adjourn?
I need a second.
Second.
Motion to adjourn made by Bordelon, seconded by Jones. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned at 9:25.